What challenges do educators face in capturing students' attention in this digital age? How can they ignite the spark of learning in a classroom filled with digital distractions? One solution that's making waves in the education sector is gamification, the process of integrating game-like elements into non-game contexts. Take the example of Mrs. Johnson, a middle school math teacher who was struggling to engage her students. Traditional methods didn't seem to resonate with her digitally savvy students, so she decided to try something different: gamification. Mrs. Johnson started by framing each lesson as a quest, with math problems as challenges to be solved. Students would earn points for each problem solved, and they could track their progress on a virtual leaderboard. This gave her students a clear sense of purpose and a tangible goal to strive for. She also introduced collaborative games where students had to work together to solve complex math problems. This fostered a sense of camaraderie among her students, promoting teamwork and improving problem-solving skills. One of the key game elements Mrs. Johnson incorporated was immediate feedback. Whenever a student solved a problem, they would instantly receive a badge or level up, reinforcing their learning and boosting their motivation. But perhaps the most significant change was the way Mrs. Johnson personalized the learning experience. She introduced choice into her gamified activities, allowing students to choose the problems they wanted to solve based on their interests. This approach gave students a sense of ownership over their learning, making it more engaging and meaningful. The results? A dramatic improvement in student engagement and learning outcomes. Students were more motivated, more involved, and performed better in tests. They enjoyed learning and looked forward to their math classes. But beyond these tangible benefits, Mrs. Johnson's approach fostered a growth mindset among her students. They saw challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for learning. Mistakes were no longer failures, but stepping stones towards mastery. The case of Mrs. Johnson illustrates the transformative potential of gamification in education. It's more than just turning learning into a game. It's about tapping into students' intrinsic motivation, making learning enjoyable, and fostering a culture of continuous improvement. So, if you're an educator struggling to engage your students, consider the power of gamification. It could be the key to unlocking your students' potential and transforming your classroom into a dynamic, engaging, and rewarding learning environment. Remember, the future of education is not in the textbook, but in the game.